actress in 2010 and 2014.
So the trans agenda relies on controlled perception. This is speech and visual media. I've shown you through the example of Jacob and the sheep. God says they also rely on the need for people to have heroes and popular figures. So this is naturally based in the fact that God has placed in us the desire to worship. We were created to worship. Adulation, exaltation, looking up to something with praiseful eyes, with admiring eyes. That thing primarily is for Jesus Christ. You can look up to your husband that way, obviously, but it's not to be confused with the outright hero and idol worship that is now part and parcel of daily life in Christianity. It's part and parcel in daily life. And so the trans agenda highly weaponizes this thing, that because people needs heroes, the trans people thought, the architects of this agenda thought, well, why not a man? Why not a man? If they're going to look up to someone, why don't you let it be you, Henry? And Henry was like, I couldn't possibly. And they were like, yes, you're quite slender, Henry. I think they'll buy it. And next thing you know, Henry is voguing, striking a pose, the toppest of the top supermodel over there in London, whoever he might be. People need heroes. People need icons. People need popular figures to look up to. And the diabolicalness of it is that they simply put men in those positions. One of the things that the Lord led me to understand is that trans is a power grab. Let me tell you this. Trans is a power grab. God help me. Think of this with me. Females fight and fight. There's not enough representation in the House of Commons. There's not enough representation in the House of Lords. We need female suffrage. And then the men think, do you have time, Henry? And then Henry goes forward. First women into parliament. First female prime minister. Please think of the grossness of the disrespect. Feminists of America, the leaders of your movement, are and were men. Men, I will show you the man. One of the most touted one, now aging like finest goat's milk, with his trachea scar clearly visible. That trachea thing, it has to be cut out, because with the trachea staying intact and the Adam's apple, they rip the whole thing out so that they can't run the risk. They don't ruin the voice box, but they take that whole contraption out. But you know who didn't have hers taken out? Mr. Sandra Bullock. She was like, not today, boys. Not today. There's video of that young man laughing, and that thing is just going gung 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 like a yo-yo in his throat. I said the temerity and the nerve. So now, here are some of the names again. God says that a man who turned his entire family over for fame and for ascension is Will Smith. He said that Will Smith turned even his children over, even his wife. And look at who they are today. These are the Lord's words. These are not Celestial's words saying, look at who they are today, because it's not my business. It is God saying, even the children were turned over for this ritual. Look at who they are today. So if you want to know who they are today, Will Smith's daughter is very male, very macho. Will Smith's son is barely in his right mind half the time, young Jaden, and he's openly gay. God says Charlize Theron, Sandra Bullock, and others like them are people who transgender their children as a way of making sacrifice to the gods that control Hollywood. So another person who has done this is the basketball player Dwayne Wade. His child is out and proud with a brand new name and dresses. And God says they sell flesh in that place. It is a flesh market. You need to know these things, Celestial. And I put it to the watchers of the Master's Voice that we need to know these things together.